Hello everyone, this is Ben from VGBlaster, and today we were spoiled with the spoilers we got. Oh, sorry. Directly from Bush Road, we got the name of our next technical booster, which is the Genius Strategy, and will feature clans from Murakumo, Mega Colony, and Great Nature. This will more than likely also give us the keywords for those clans. We got the first of which from Murakumo, which is Clothed Image or Clothed Image. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. It'll probably be different in English, I imagine. But we'll see. No word on what that actually means, but obviously I imagine it's something to do with Murukumo's playstyle of cloning something and then it returning to the bottom of the deck at the end of turn. So we got the first look at one of their strides, Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue Yasui Tenma, which is obviously the stride evolution form of Stealth Rogue of Revelation Yasui from the previous support they got. So Tenma's effect is Generation Pick 2, choose a card, copy of himself in the G zone and turn it face up. And then at the end of turn, this unit gets the effect of Clothed Image, is what I'm going to call it until someone tells me differently, but that's probably wrong. Counterblast 1 is the cost. At the end of battle, that your unit attacked a Vanguard. If the attack did not hit, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to one card with the same name as the card that attacked, and call it to a Rearguard circle, and then shuffle your deck. So I'm guessing this will be a triple rare, as they don't tend to make the generation rares persona flippers. They tend to just be, especially in technical boosters like the previous one, they were just kind of like one-off big play cards for certain situations. So this is probably a triple rare. It seems like a very good effect. Obviously, anything that doesn't hit, you get to clone a copy of it. You probably call it over the previous version. This also works for when your Vanguard doesn't hit, you can call a copy of the Heart card. So yeah, it seems very good, and I imagine it will probably work very well with some of the new support that we're getting. So the set releases in Japan on the 22nd of July. We can probably expect to see that 3 or 4 weeks after that date. As our releases are pretty close at the minute, I think like set 7 is only about 3 weeks behind Japan for the English release. So the breakdown for the set is the same as the previous technical booster, or pretty similar I imagine, with each clan getting 1 generation rare, 2 triple Rs, 3 double Rs, 7 rares and 11 commons. It's also been confirmed that there will be 5 reprints, one of which being Coiling Duckbill, I believe, for Great Nature, and Machining Stag Beetle, I think is what they said, don't quote me on that. But also different this time is we'll be getting Secret Gear rares for obviously each copy of the generation rare, for each copy of the generation rare, which we'll actually start getting from set 7, but we yet to see what kind of like foiling they'll take or like what the pull ratio is. But speaking of set 7, this is what I'm personally more excited for. Today we got our effect for the new form of Gurguit. So he's called Sunrise Ray Radiant Sword Gurguit. He is obviously he's the generation rare, or one of the generation rares in the set, the other being a Kagero unit that's related to Overlord apparently, but we haven't got the official skill on that. He also obviously comes in Secret Gear rare, generation rare, and his effect is Generation Week 2, Unite, which is obviously the new gold piling keyword when 2 units go to Rearguard or Guardian Circle during that turn. Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 2. Until the end of turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power for each of your rearguards until the end of turn. Then choose up to 5 of your rearguards, and they get plus 5,000 power until the end of turn, which is just mad. This is Platinum Rezel on steroids for a much lower cost. And finally, we get a really good solid gold paladin stride outside of an Ezel build, because before this Scourge Point Dragon was probably your best option. I mean, the new one was alright, but it was nothing great. They lacked a big finisher. Everything else was kind of called units. There was no power gain, no crits, no guard restriction. This fills the gap really nicely because a lot of your rearguards do a lot of the calling. If you're running Gurguit, obviously you get a call on stride as well. So all they did was fill the field. They didn't put any more pressure on your opponent in terms of anything. So this is really good. A few things to note about this card is, first, he's not heart restricted, meaning he's splashable in all gold paladin builds, be it Liberators, Ezel, you Gurguit, obviously, whatever. Second, he doesn't need a G-Zone flip, either persona or otherwise. So if you want to run, you don't need to buy multiple copies of him. If you're a very budget player, if you're looking to pull one, you can just use that one straight away. And then if you you know, if you do want to splash the cash and get multiple, you can use up to 4 in a game. Obviously, you might not with the effect cost. You'll probably run about 2 or 3 to optimize him, but you know, the option's there to run 4. So, finally, the most important thing to note is that his skill is not once per turn restricted, meaning you can activate the skill as many times in a turn as you can pay the cost. So, say you went for it twice with 2 Counterblast and 4 Soul Blast. If you have a full field, which is obviously easy to do in Gold Paladin, each of your rearguard columns gets plus 20k, and your vanguard column gets plus 55k, which is insane. And you can go even higher than that if you have the options available. It's very unlikely, but if you want to go all out, you had 5 of them, Counterblast, 10 Soul somehow. That's 50k plus to each rearguard column and 150k plus to the vanguard column, which is mad. And like I said, that's very unlikely to happen. But I would very much like myself to do it one day, or at least see someone do it, especially if they're using it in conjunction with Raven-haired Ezel, the new promo Ezel card that's coming out. If you don't know what he does, his skill is Limit Break 5, so Ultimate Break. When this card is placed on Vanguard Circle with a grade 3 or greater unit with Ezel and its card name that was Road, until the end of turn, this unit gets plus 10,000 power, and your opponent cannot call cards other than grade 1 from hand to Guardian Circle. So obviously you don't get the 10,000 power, where once you stride you lose that, because that is given to Ravenhead, but the effect of your opponent cannot call cards other than grade 1 from hand is active the entire turn against any attack on your opponent in general, Vanguard or Rearguard, but you're probably going to be going all out on Vanguard on this turn if you go Gurguit. So they can still G-Guard, but unless they have a lot of heals and perfect guards in their hand, they're in a lot of trouble on that turn. If they're at 4 or 5 damage, that's pretty much good game. So yeah, they kind of, I suppose if you can call it a problem, only problem with this card is the Soul Blast cost, you know, trying to keep it up to use the skill multiple times, and also if you are using him in a Gurguit build, it kind of clashes with his grade 3 forms Generous Break 2 Superior Guard skill, as they both need Soul to activate them. We yet to see the rest of the support in set 7, or even half. We've seen a few cards, but we yet to see the majority of the support for set 7. So there might be more soul building support, but as of now, there's still a few good options. First of which we have the 2 crit triggers, Flame of Victory, which we obviously just got reprinted in the start deck, whose skill is obviously from Vanguard Circle, put him to the soul, choose a unit, gets plus 3k until the end of turn. And then Gold Paladin are getting their Heart Thump clone in set 7, who's called Scarface Lion. Standard Heart Thump clone. When your Vanguard with Gurguit in its card name attacks, so even in an Ezel build, obviously if you're on the Stride, that can go off. Put this unit into your soul, your Vanguard gets plus 5,000 power, and you draw a card. Obviously, you're going to have to do that the turn previous if you want to set up for Gurguit, because obviously you're going to be paying the cost before you start attacking. But there's no generation break limit on that card, so you can do it earlier on. You know, get yourself set up, plan ahead. There's also pretty much all of the Gold Paladin starters. I'm probably going to use, in your Gurguit build, you're probably going to use in Knight of Early Dawn Cole, the new card that came in the start deck, or, you know, Rising Lionet if you still like him. And then as a build, they have some options, all going to Soul, or the old grade 3 Searcher, all going to Soul. I help build that up. We've had a few spoilers from set 7, one of which is grade 1, which is Knight of Blooming Sun Jeffrey, whose card effect is Generous Break 1 Unite. Put this unit into your soul is the cost. At the end of battle, you may pay that cost. At the end of battle, so that if you need boosted, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw a card. So, obviously you lose him on the field, but you gain it back in card advantage in your hand. But he's also good because he frees up space, so you can get off your Unite next turn. Because, you know, it's very easily to fill up your field in Gold Paladins, and sometimes you don't want a superior call if you have a good formation. So if he goes away and you've got the open space, you know, sometimes you are forced to call a trigger, so it's better to call it to an open space than something that's occupied that has more power. So, you know, you don't have that problem with him. In the same vein, you've got some grade 2s, obviously from the start deck you've got Holy Mage Elio. I can't pronounce the names very well, which is obviously the one that on the grade 2, on hit, can't last one, put it in the soul, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and call one. Standard Gold Paladin effect. But obviously he's good anyway because he applies a lot of pressure and then he goes into the soul. to build that up. And then we've also had a new card spoiled from set 7, Knight of Fin Sun Marcia, whose effect is Unite. It's not Generation Break limited on Rearguard Circle. And then to turn, you may pay the cost, which is put this unit into your soul. If you do, countercharge 1. She's an 8k, but she has resist as well, which kind of helps against God Paladin's main problem outside of his L builds, which is Link Joker. But you might not want to run her, but she's there if you are really struggling to build that soul up. She also frees up Counterblast, obviously with the countercharge. So I think Elio is the better choice out of the two, because there are some very good God Paladin grade 2s. But we'll see what the rest of the spot is. We might get something better, or she might be very good if you want to keep that Counterblast open. So yeah, all in all, it's a very good card. At the minute, it's looking like it will run best in an Ezel build, as it works amazingly with Ravenhead, as I said. There is no word on if we are getting Ravenhead in English. I imagine we will at some point, but there's been no kind of confirmation of when or how we're getting it. Hopefully, it's going to be the sneak peek promo for set 7, but we'll see. That'll be the best way to kind of get hold of multiple copies, because usually sneak peek promos are quite widely available. It also seems we are getting a Zell focused support in set 7. There's only been shown one grade 2 so far. I've forgotten the name now, but it's when it's placed on Rearguard Circle. If you have a Vanguard with a Zell and its card name Stud, search your deck for a card, I think it's a grade 3 with a Zell, and ride it as stand. So that's very good, obviously, with Ravenhead. Maybe we'll get some form of a Zell break ride. Although Ravenhead does get itself 10k, so I think this grade 2 might be more focused on that. But we'll see. Hopefully there is more support. I love Zell. It was one of the first full decks I made when I started playing after Royal Paladins. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that was my thoughts on what we got shown today. Let me know what you guys think of it, and any good plays I've not mentioned with Gurguit or other ways you can build up the soul or anything else. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Hopefully you guys like me covering Vanguard news. If this video goes down well, I'll do more. I'm probably going to get some more out this week, covering maybe Card Fight Online and the current Springfest that's going on, the team tournament, and look at the current metagame probably. So we'll see. Anyway, look forward to those things. This has been Ben from VGBlaster. See you guys soon. Bye.